Okay, so by no means am I suggesting to you right now that you're going to get this, but I'm praying that I plant a seed in your spirit, because this is where it gets a little difficult, because we're turning the Levitical laws back into the spiritual seed that they need to be for you to understand them in the 21st century. In other words, these are just principles. And so we have to take the archaic language and translate the truths out of the archaic language into the 21st century. This is the year 2023. So that we can usher in the presence of God. Now keep in mind, we're talking about the presence of God. These are the Levitical laws. Also, let me put this in there. We want to keep this simple, but I think it's important for you to understand that I'm not suggesting necessarily that this timeline was from the time they went from Egypt to Canaan alone. I honestly don't know when Moses wrote the script. Did he do it afterwards? Did he do it before? I don't know. Be hard to do before, but it's possible. Did he do it along the journey? I don't know. So did he do it before, along the journey, or after when he wrote the script? I don't know. Some of you didn't even bother to think about that kind of stuff. But keep in mind, we're talking about different perspectives. And, there's too much arguing, in other words, about language. And sometimes I listen to people arguing, and to me, they sound like they're saying the same thing from a different perspective. We got to get rid of all the arguments. No, the whole I'm right, you're wrong thing. You're both wrong and you're both right. Everyone, strike that. A lot of people are so interested in their point of view that they're not interested in someone else's. If you're following this video, the Jews are there. You can kind of see where the born again Christians are coming in, but they're not even there yet. The Muslims are there. The Ashkenazi Jews are there. All coming out of the same families. And you guys are busy arguing your points of view. Relax. Get over it. You can see where the corruptibility is possible because of the different traditions of the different territories. All coming from the same family. Because of this I'm better than you attitude, we miss out on the beauty of the mosaic of God's creation, which is you and me, all of us. For that reason, we become destructive in our behavior. And again, I told you, this is just me. But I want you to consider this. I'm planting seeds in the spirit world for you to see this. And so let me break down seeds in the spirit world. Giving you things to consider that may be true. So I don't want it to sound so spiritual that you don't understand it. Seeds in the spirit world. I thought about that. Just something to consider. maybe you're right and wrong at the same time. you know, you don't want to call the Muslims your brothers. You don't want to call there were no Christians in this at this point. You're not even Christianity is a new thing. We're just talking about the kingdom of God. The exodus from Egypt, what today we call Egyptology, or Ma'at in some cases. We got all these names and titles for things. And that's, and within itself, that's what we do, because we're humans. We all have that Adam gene in us where we want to name everything. Because we've been given authority to name things. I get that. But it doesn't mean you're any different than the other people. Some Egyptians left with the Israelites. Some people might call that adoption. Not Adam, but it's one of the promises. That you can be adopted into a belief system. So we got to get over this whole thing, because we're talking about ushering in the presence of God on purpose. And a big part of that is right here in Leviticus chapter 9. And I want to share with you the principles of ushering in the actual presence of God. I'm going to speak in the language of this old book written in the 1600s, but in English, that is. But I want you to understand that this has to be converted into 21st century language, so I'm going to do my best to give you my position as I believe my spirit is telling me it has. My position that my spirit has. Leviticus chapter 9, verse 8. Now, if you caught the other video, because this is going to be difficult to follow if you're not following the videos. I'm taking you from Genesis to, and I titled the Genesis books, so I may have to redo that all together, because I was trying to put them all together. But I was speaking so casually about it that I didn't start really titling it until I got into Exodus. But it would be helpful if you go back. Leviticus chapter 9, verse 8. Aaron therefore went unto the altar and slew the calf of the sin offering, which for himself. Aaron being the high priest. So the high priest has to offer his sin offering. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I wanted to push you in that direction so that you understand where we're going. So at the altar, there's Aaron, who's a high priest, and his sons brings him the blood, which he dips his fingers in and puts on the horns of the altar, and then pours the blood at the base of the altar. And then with the sin offering, which is the calf, with sin, you're offering up the whole calf, but the fat, the kidneys, the caul, the liver are burnt, and then the hide and the flesh is taken outside the camp. So that's the sin offering. So should I give you all of it and then... So let's just talk about the sin offering. So the high priest has to be cleansed of sin before he can help the people. You know, in the airplane's going down, the mask drops, they tell you to put the mask on yourself first before you help your child. You got to cleanse yourself of your sin properly. Is there improper way of cleansing yourself of sin? Yes, playing, acting like you are. So the proper cleansing of sin is to offer up the fat, the kidneys, the caul, and the liver, which are the things that protect yourself. So you have to turn your protection over to God. Burn it. You can't, let me put it, you can't get yourself out of this. So you have to offer yourself up. And if you know me to any degree, I believe you offer yourself up by being honest and transparent about who you are. You don't fake it. You don't, it's cool that you cry in the closet, then cry outside too. About the sin nature and be honest about it. But there has to be a profession as well of what you're going to do. This is good for your mental health. This is good for drawing in the right people into your life. This is good if you want to serve. Servants are leaders. And I know it sounds like servants are leaders. You lead by serving. There are many people in your life who are leading and they're not serving. That means they're not leaders. They just look like they are because they're faking it. Because they haven't offered up the sin offering. They're trying to be something or act like they're something that they're not, and they're not trying to deceive you, but they are deceiving you. Because they're not being honest with themselves, they therefore cannot be honest with you. And still people want to follow them because they're dynamic in their talent. Because the talents are without repentance. God gave them the talent, but without offering up the sin offering in transparency and honesty, they are deceiving people. Not trying to, in most cases. You offer up your protection, your fat, your kidneys, your caul, your liver. These are the items that are within the body. These are the inwards of the sin offering that are there to protect the body itself. That is to be burnt on the altar in order. That's a sin offering. On the same offering, in the same place where the burnt offering takes place, for the burnt offering. So there's the sin offering and then there's the burnt offering. Again, this is for Aaron the priest before we even get started in ushering in the kingdom. You are both of these. You are the people and you're the priest. You have to learn how to see yourself as both. Before you can receive anyone else's sin offering, burnt offering, and peace offering, you have to be clear. The burnt offering, as I explained in Leviticus chapter 1, is you offering up yourself. Where was that I read this? Earlier, Leviticus 9:7, and Moses said unto Aaron, go unto the altar and offer thy sin offering. This was before we even got started in breaking this down. Go unto the altar, offer thy sin offering, offer thy sin offering. Get your clarity. And offer thy burnt offering, offer yourself, and make an atonement for thyself. And for the people, which Aaron is one of the people too, when he takes off the linen. And for the people, got lost, my daughter called me. And for the people, offer the offering of the people and make atonement for them as the Lord commands. Well, what's the offering of the people? It's the same offering as for the priests. Offering of the people. And offer the offer of the people. Offer the offer of the people. Burnt offering, sin offering, peace offering. Important that we get this, which is the reason why, in my own little way, I'm trying to drill this home. You first clear yourself, be honest and transparent with yourself about your sin, bringing it to God. Take all your protection off. Stop acting like you're something you're not. Get rid of your protection. Get rid of your liver. Get rid of your kidneys. Get rid of your caul and the rest of the fat that's around your protective organs. Burn it. Get rid of it. Stop acting like you're something you're not. This doesn't mean that you can't still walk by faith and not by sight. This doesn't mean that you don't call those things that be not as though they were. But you have to realize they're not. You're not. Stop acting like you are. Before you're not. Where you're not, and then you are. You're calling those things that be not as though they were. They're not until the glory of God comes in. It's the difference between you making something happen and God bringing it to you. God brings it to you when you're willing to open yourself up to the possibilities of relationship, not only with God, but also with man. Explained in the book of Luke in how Jesus did it. He grew in wisdom with God and man. It came to him. Our job is to offer up the sin offering. Our job is to offer up ourselves, the burnt offering. The blood is sprinkled by Aaron. The head is burnt. And he washes the inwards, cleanses them, and then burns them. This is the burnt offering. And then finally, for the people, the same thing is done with Aaron and his sons, except his sons handles the process, the priest, not Aaron. And the people bring the sin offering and the burnt offering to the tabernacle of the congregation. And then once they bring the sin offering and the burnt offering to the tabernacle of the congregation, they enjoy the peace offering, which is the bullock and the ram. Within the peace offering is the wave offering, acknowledging God. Within the peace offering is the wave offering, acknowledging the Lord, the boss. Within the peace offering. Peace with who? Peace with people and peace with God. This is brought to the tabernacle of the congregation. This is offered up on the altar, the heart of God. And this is how we begin to usher in the kingdom of heaven, by having right relationship with each other. You can't possibly think that the kingdom, that the Spirit of God or His glory is going to come down until we release ourselves and we release others who come to us.